So what's up, Mickey and Welbo? Hopefully we won't have any audio issues going on today. I changed some things up anyway with the where the USB mic and stuff went on. So yeah, you did see some Wyze mentioned. Um, the messing with the Wyze without the camera. So I know they were talked about it on Reddit and the Facebook stuff. There was dealing with the component where the custom component where you could actually just plug in the receiver. And I did play with a little bit last night. It was actually very easy. I did it on my Unraid box, and I was just able to pass the USB controller straight into it, the little USB device. Now, I got a Raspberry Pi 4 in today, and I saw that they had the image. So I said, well, I just want to see what Hassio looks like on the Raspberry Pi 4. So I said, well, wait, let's just go ahead and try to do Wyze on it as well. So I installed the custom component store deal, and we'll see if we can do it live. So maybe it'll fail, maybe not. But it actually is pretty simple. At least I did it on the just a regular container for Home Assistant. So let's see. So if you hadn't seen the little sensors, they are pretty small. I'm trying to think something I have. Everybody should know the size of a standard SD card. So you can actually see they're... No, Eshwana, I did actually play with one of the Wyze cameras. I bought one of the I was trying to just buy just a regular Wyze camera, but then I think on Amazon they only had the 2-packs, so I went ahead and bought one of the pan and tilt ones, and I put the RTSP firmware on it, and I tried to attach with Blue Iris. Couldn't get it to work at first, and I found a thread on Reddit where people were saying, hey, you got to connect to, if you had that issue, you got to connect with VLC first. So I was able to connect with VLC, and then Blue Iris was able to connect to it. But then I found you couldn't pan the camera through RTSP, and then anytime the camera rebooted for some reason, then I had to connect to it with VLC again, otherwise Blue Iris wouldn't see it again, and then there were some delays. I just didn't like it. It just really wasn't worth it to me, and I just wanted to see what it was kind of like, really. And so then my wife was actually going to take it to work, and then she decided not to. So, and but yeah, so I'll just, if I want some wireless cameras, I probably will spend just a little bit more and get like something like I did with the those Reolink 4 megapixel indoors. I think they were like 40-ish, a little under $50, and plus those come with RTSP, and they do have 5 gigahertz as well, which is huge. So equivalent to UK, had problems taking cameras. Yeah, see, I had a couple of issues as well, and I just I guess I'm spoiled with just being able to pick the IP address and hit connect and call it a day. I just didn't have any good luck. I didn't try the little square Wyze cameras. Maybe they have better luck with those. So, but so that's why I kind of skipped over one of the posts on Reddit for the Wyze component. They were. Let's see. I'll pull up the browser for it and let's see. Yeah, so it was this post on Reddit. They were talking about the Wyze custom component, and basically you don't plug in the little transceiver, or I guess it'd just be a receiver. I'm not sure if it actually does any transmitting. You just plug it into the actual Raspberry Pi or whatever. I had plugged in my Unraid server last night, and it worked fine. Um, so, but it's actually really simple to install. And let's see, I pull up my desk here. Trying to remember my buttons. I did. So the transceiver is actually, I did plug it into, this is the Raspberry Pi 4 that we do. I didn't want to unplug it. And I just plugged it straight in. It's just that it's designed, I guess, to go in the back of the camera. And it's got that little cloth thing you can pull it off. I just plugged it into a USB. And on my server, when I had it plugged in, I just had a little USB extension cord, something like a little Amazon Basics one, just a little USB extension cord. I had it plugged in, and it worked fine. So, but I didn't pair these two up yet, and I do have, like I said, I do have the Hassio stuff on a Raspberry Pi 4 along with the custom component store. If I'm saying it right, it's HACS, I think what it is. Yeah, Home Assistant Community Store. I guess they wouldn't say custom component store. And so if you go through this, the setup was pretty simple. On the GitHub page, you have to go in. I'll make this bigger for you guys so you can see it. I thought about doing this beforehand, but I didn't want to cheat, and we'll see if hopefully it'll work. If not, we may have to flip to my Unraid where I had it running. If it didn't get mad, I unplugged the device from it. So, say what's up, Daniel and Dave. Yeah, we're doing I know jokes and stuff, but I'm doing I guess you'll say rare day stream for me, and but kind of works out. I'm off usually off every other Friday, and now that the little one is in kindergarten and he started today, then it makes it a little easier for me where I don't have any distractions during the day, so I can do a live stream. So, but everybody and their dog just seemed to call me. I was trying to do this earlier, but so we did type integration, and I'll save it. So I'm not sure of a UK equivalent of the Wyze. I know I've seen some different cameras. I know some people, I saw in one of the threads, they were talking about buying them and using it in New Zealand. But I make sure it uses, I did pull up the, I know we're jumping around, but I did pull up the FCC stuff, and it looks like they do show it in the manual. They did the test manual. It shows it actually has a range of 906 megahertz to 918 megahertz. So of course, if you're using it in some other countries, make sure you're not, even though the range is small, you just don't want to get in trouble by any what in governing body that might do with RF and stuff. So, but the little receiver was actually kind of neat. It's just real simple. It's what's inside there. It looks like there's a button and there's a little antenna and really just one or two little chips. Pretty simple. Hey, what's up, Danny? So, the only thing I saw on Amazon for it was they had, for the camera, they had like a camera in the starter kit where you came with 2 door sensors and then a PIR sensor and that, and of course it did come with the camera. And I didn't see just the starter kit. So what I ordered mine from Wyze itself, and it wasn't that expensive. And what I ordered was the starter kit and then one more PIR. So you had with the starter kit, of course, and it does say requires the Wyze camera, but I don't have the Wyze camera. We're not. That's what we're going for, because this is a cloudless solution, so it's just straight. Doesn't go through Wyze's cloud or anything. It's gonna go. It's much like you plugging in a Zigbee or a Z-Wave controller into your IO or Home Assistant server or whatnot. It's just kind of USB radio basically. So I bought the starter kit for $19.99, and then I bought, since I was ordering anyway, I ordered the another motion sensor for $6, and I want to say I paid, I think shipping was like $5 or $6 or something like that. So it's pretty inexpensive. So for the sensors. So back to finish the install. So we need to go to the Wyze. Back to my Home Assistant. And we'll go to the Sense component, hit install. And it was pretty easy to install. And I did have to find in my log. Now, I'm not sure where you can get that out of the log. Maybe you got, I'm not too much of a Hassio Pro. In my Unraid, I was able to get the log and just see what device the name was as soon as I plugged in the USB, and it came right through. And I'll show you what we're talking about here in a second. So I don't know, it says click on the Wyze system. I wonder if we need to just plug it in after. Maybe that's why I didn't see that. All right, overview. And what I was looking for, if there was like a type of I found this in here was the hardware log, and there should be like a HI, looks like almost like HI draw or something like that, and I didn't see it in here, but I don't know if it's gonna show up in the hardware list or not. But I did show that in my hardware log for when I did plug it in. I just didn't know if that shows that for in Hassio or not. So, but I guess we'll go ahead and give it a shot and see what happens. So did not do in the manual, and it was pretty simple. Now this was the HI draw 0 right here. I had to use HI draw 1 on my Unraid server, like I said last night, but we're gonna just give it a shot for HI draw 0 and see what happens. And let's make sure I'm on the right Home Assistant, because I got like 3 or 4 Home Assistants going on right now in one shot. All right, so down, we'll do binary sensor, and we'll leave it there. And that was pretty much it. You just had to throw that in, and that was it in the configuration in your binary sensor section. And actually, I actually will say, since I wanted to see the Pi4 with Hassio, it's actually bearable. It's not that bad. Yeah, the full cold reboot still takes a while, but the simple server restart, it actually restarts pretty quick. It's not bad at all. It runs really good on the Raspberry Pi 4. Now, I don't have this loaded down really, so that's not going to be any consolation. But the reboots were not too bad. They were like 10 to 15 seconds or less. Let's see. I didn't put a temperature probe on it. If I have, I think I do have one. I have the case open right now. I bought the, this is the one I bought, while it's rebooting. Canna kit. I went ahead and bought the 4 gig. It looks like it just finished rebooting, which ain't too bad. The Canna kit. I bought the starter kit. I thought it was the other. They had a different one with the like official case or something. Yeah, well, here it was. I bought something close to this. I didn't buy it with the SD card. Canna Kit has all kind of different models. It seems. I think that one's right at $100, but it does come with like the SD card, but I already had some SD cards, so, and that was the 4 gig version I went ahead and bought. So I figured I would somehow regret buying just the 2 gig down the road, because I may end up doing something with like maybe a Retro Pi with it or something, or just loading up different Docker stuff. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it yet. So let's see if this did pick up anything with the Wyze sensors. It should install. I noticed it should do. There's let's go back and follow the instructions. Like, yeah. So what you have to do is you should do this Wyze scan, and that was pretty much all I did. As long as I had, like I say, we're guessing on that device, and I put that in there, and then you will do a pair. And hey, what's up, Anthony? So we'll do the little door sensor. It does have a decent little magnet, and it's basically just a little contact sensor, reed switch basically, and there's a little sticky on the back of it, and then of course there's the magnet that we have. So typical reed switch, and it does stick pretty well to it if I don't drop it. And like I say, just for size relations, it is, everybody knows the full SD card size. That's a good relation to it. So and then it does come with the little, it almost looks like a SIM card tool for the Wyze, and then you push the little button for 3 seconds. And what you have to do is go to, and we'll see if we did this right. 63 watching, two likes, huh? See, not everybody likes it. I'm just too unorthodox. That's what it is. Speak my mind too much. Sometimes it maybe gets me in trouble, right? So we'll go to, if I keep forgetting to put the screen on, somebody yell at me. I don't mind. This throws me off now that they've changed this developer tools and stuff around. It'll take me getting used to it. So Wyze scan. So you call Wyze scan, and then in 30 seconds, you go ahead and push the reset button for 3 seconds. So we'll do the reset button, and it should do the pair. You can't be honest among friends. Yeah, yep, that's it. Oh, if I say it right, Kamarjian. I mean, you tried to get me last time or something, but I ended up botching it anyway and screw it up. So once you do the pairing, let's look at unused entities, and there it is. We'll go ahead and how about we add it? Curmudgeon, there you go. Okay, appreciate it. Configure UI, and we'll add an entity card. Like I say, this is just a little development version of. Oh, look, it did bring in my other ones. I've paired up a PIR sensor and the door sensor. So it did pair that up. So I don't know if we're going to get the right one. Let's see. Yep, that's it. So pretty simple. And the PIR sensor really impressed me. Um, it's Let me go ahead and add those before I start running my mouth again. So we'll go edit, and let's see what other Wyze sensors we have. Did I add this one already? 241. And I guess let me get myself out the way of it, right? And we'll close the editor. I guess it's saying off. I didn't pair that with that yet, so I'm not sure why it's showing the off on those. I probably kind of screwed this up because, like I say, I had this paired with on my Unraid box, so the controller's probably getting messed up with it. So yeah, and you can see, and it's pretty quick. And I'll show, like, if you watch, it's pretty quick. So watch the screen. And they like I said, they do use 900 megahertz. I do have various issues with had it with issues with Z-Wave with 900 megahertz. I haven't had any issues with these yet. So I'll try the PIR sensor. Yeah, so it added that 241 sensor to the notification, and it does show the signal and the battery level. And I know someone just asked about what's the distance. I haven't fully tested it yet, but I've seen people talk about in various threads and stuff, other things, that anywhere from like 70 feet to 100 feet. So if you want to do your conversion on meters, but I do, that is one thing I wanted to try. I actually wanted to try to bring it outside and see what happens. And trying to pull the sticker off of this PIR. And I know, you try talking about what is the range probably in the PIR. It seemed to be pretty wide, but I haven't, of course, that's no test on that either. And I'm sure, people have done a bunch of tests with these. There'll be some more official tests for that. So, am I delaying on the stream? Oh, it's fine now. I don't think they're mesh because they're battery devices. So definitely wouldn't want to be mesh. So they probably just wake up and go back to sleep. I did see Wyze is saying they're like a 12-month battery replacement. I haven't opened up one to see what the battery is inside. Like I say, I was just trying to see if it paired with. Yeah, I saw on my other screen it was delaying for some reason. Davin. Is it Davin or Davin? Like I say, don't take it personal if I butcher your name. I'm always bad at butchering names. So let's pair this guy here. We'll go to, is it developer? Yeah, services, and we'll do the Y scan again. And we'll just reset this one. You just hold it down for 3 seconds and it pairs, and you should actually see the blue LED on the little Wyze. I call it the Wyze radio. And now we got the notification that B3 was added. I'm gonna take those other ones off. I think that's messing those up because I paired them on the other install. So you shouldn't have that issue. Just that's my screw up there. And we'll put this one in there. And you see it automatically does show the, it puts the right state, which I thought was kind of cool. They did a good job with the component of it. It does show the being a motion state. See if I can face that away from me and see what happens. Yeah, I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's meshed. And it should. I don't know. If, I haven't seen. One thing I did see was what the reset time on the PIR. I don't know if it's going to be picking me up from. I faced it away from me. I'm not sure if it's picking up something or whatever. But yeah, I did notice it was a little longer on the PIR than, like, I guess some of the PIRs I'm used to of, like, 7 to 10 seconds or even less than that. Some of them are 3 to 5, and this one, there it goes. Does go clear. So it's what you got to watch twice. um, so yeah, it does show clear. Let's see how long it's gonna. If I trigger it, shows detected. So that was kind of cool. They did a good job with the component, and it's really easy to bring in. And of course, we could, you can just go in and change the names of them. And look, that one's got a super battery. Got battery power of 102. Name override. We'll call. I don't remember which one this was. B3. This is. We'll call it Wyze PR2. Oh, and I will. This is the link to the component for the GitHub for that Wyze component. So, and a Wyze door 2. And it is showing right. My zoom on here is messing up these. There you go. I had it zoomed in too much, so it was showing the history wrong. So, oh, okay, that's a good idea. So you can walk around. I guess as long as you're not watching and driving, right? So that's all that matters. So that's about it. Pretty simple. No crazy throwing in the component or just using the, of course, probably the most difficult install. But I think Doc did a video on doing the component store install. So not going to cover that and stuff. And of course, that's right there. Why is it that restarting Home Assistant, all the Tasmodo entity is not available anymore? So which Tasmodo entity, Eddie? Yeah, the camera integration, that would be pretty cool. If, of course, I'm all about local. If there was for them to just be able to grab like some reliable streams and throw them in with the pictures and stuff, it'd be great. So, but I may not possibly go there for me because I've got some other camera options along with Blue Iris and stuff like that. So, but hey, if the $20 cameras work out great for you, then go for it. Definitely. I mean, they can't beat that. So, if I'm saying it right, Tima he wanted me to. He sent me a deal for a light switch, and I'm probably not going to do like a full-blown video type thing on it, or it was a kind of a cool light switch. I don't know if I can hook it up here, but I haven't tore it down yet, and I do going to plan to put Tasmodo on it, and it looks like it's regular about, let's see, let's pull it up. And if y'all got any other questions about the Wyze stuff, feel free, I can jump back to it. So it's a light switch that it's got a little pan. It was on Lightning deal for like $15, so that's why I bought it. And looks like it's made by Kesson, and it has a panel of RGB lights. Now they show you can control the the picture like each individual RGB light. I don't know that yet, and it didn't appear to be that way. It looked like they were all going to be one color. I did attach it to the Tuya app, and because I wouldn't do anyway, wouldn't do Tuya convert. It does come block, and I probably would. Looks like you can solder it, and I wanted to see. So I thought it was kind of cool. I wanted to put it in the bathroom for the kids, and also probably for me to do different automations where I could. What I was thinking of was in the morning based on the colors and the time is I'll look at the traffic sensor where like my commute to work, and so instantly when I go in that bathroom, and I usually go in the front bathroom because the wife's sleeping and stuff, and uh, finish getting ready in there, and they would just have a single light switch on there, so it'd be perfect. And I wanted to be able to change the LEDs based on the commute time. So basically, when I walk in there, if I see it's just lit up green on Monday through Friday, then I know that it's just regular commute time. I can just chill out, do whatever I need to do. And if I see yellow or red or something, I probably need to go look at my commute time to work and skip a couple things, skip goofing off and reading emails and whatnot, and just go ahead and go to work type deal. So, hey, what's up, Sean? Yeah, that Martin Jerry three way, I was pretty cool. Um, it's pretty cool the way it does. Yeah, it was very. I do have it to the side here. Let me move the Y stuff out of the way. I do want to do the. I want to check. I'm gonna check the range out on them. So is the switch is here. It looks like your standard um, little switch. Oh, it's hey, what's up? Look, we got. Is it? I I'm gonna probably butcher his name. Is with the. I think you do the component store, I believe, right? So I'm not gonna try to attempt the name. Luidus or something like that. Somebody will correct me, and then y'all pick on me later, right? So the Switch was actually kind of cool, but it was like I say, somebody was saying it was misleading. Davin was saying it was misleading. Yeah, it looks like it's only one color, and it was pretty bright for the especially at night. Lud Ludius. Okay, there we go. So it's actually kind of a neat little. There's like the diffuser right here, and there are some other LEDs at the bottom, and it does have a reflective set, and those are I think they're just RGB LEDs. And then of course here's the button right here, and it's just a single pole switch. No, it actually clicks. I don't know if you want to hear. Let's see. So it does click. It's not just a. It actually pushes here. There's a full click rocker. So, um, and like I say, they were on. They're probably. I'm hoping that they're WS2812s. So I'm hoping that I can just tear it apart. And I'd already started taking it apart. And I wasn't gonna start pinning out everything, and y'all looking at the back of my head or the top of my bald head, and me trying to pin things out and to figure things out. And I probably will do that later. And I pull this. We can pull it apart right quick. But there's. It looks like kind of like a Tuya module, but it's not. And there's no like they had like the little RF can on top of it, or RF shield. There's no RF shield on top of it, and so it comes apart pretty easy. This just slides off, and then I started halfway pulling it apart, and I was like, no, let me stop before I do something and really start tearing into it. So this part came off. And then this module looked like it just plugs in on the top, but it may not. I don't know. We'll see. Where it should be, so you can see here's the ESP8266 in the flash RAM. It looks like these pins just pull out though. Yeah, they do. Okay. So this is the little light module. So it looks like they're all. I don't know. I have to mess with that a little, and I have to mess with it. I'm always looking for the Jasco in most. It's more natural. Oh, okay, yeah. I haven't seen any of those where you can either push up or down type deal. We'll zoom in on this thing. The analog zoom, which is always a good thing. Let me move the camera a little bit. So better under the light. And fix the zoom, the autofocus that doesn't work. Yeah, so what I was planning on doing was to pull up I think they call it the QFN package for the ESP8266. It has the pinouts for all the pins around the sides, and I was going to ohm out the pins and see which one is RX and TX, and I'm sure I can probably plug into one of these for like ground and 3.3 volts to power it, and I should just be able to have to solder RX and TX to it and flash this thing. So it does just have the regular stock firmware on it right now. So, but I know Timma was talking about wanting to see what the pinout was for these and flashing them. So that would be pretty cool little switch, and I'll probably take a few pictures of it and stuff, and then I'll put the template up on the Blackadder's website, the official Tasmodo template repository. So I don't know if Eddie got his question answered. I didn't know if he was doing if he was putting in his Tasmodo devices using auto discovery, or if he was just putting them in manually. And whether sometimes it's a number of things, but it is like they were talking about with the persistent messages and the topics. So I do plan on. I know I've had a couple people ask, and everybody's probably pros at it and everything, but I did want to do some kind of ground up stuff because everybody's a beginner at one point. I'll do probably a little quick thing on how to add some Tasmodo stuff and kind of do some basics on, not basics, but basics of just going through Tasmodo and adding them and stuff like that. So don't know if we'll do something with ESP Home yet on that, if we'll try to mix it up together. I'm just not sure. So check out the EvaLogic WF31. What are those? Okay. So if you're using auto discovery, they should just pop back in. Now, is it some of the sensors or the actual switches? And George, no, I actually have a second RF bridge ordered from Banggood that I wanted to do that ES modification. So I'm kind of waiting on that. I just wanted to see, and I'm of course I like to geek out with a little RF from way back in the day, so that's kind of interests me. And I have hooked up using the little SDR USB stick in the house, and there's some neighbors with some they're Accurite weather sensors, and I could pick those up. So I was thinking about trying to pick those up with the ES Purna. No, I haven't done, Dale, I haven't done any rule stuff with ESP Home. And I do run some stuff ESP Home, but typically my choice at this point is for like switches and just typical on-off switches and things like that. I stick with Tasmodo with those because it's just stupid simple to deploy and put out and control and change rules. Now, like different sensors and stuff, I will run. Let's see. I will run. Like, of course, the the energy monitoring stuff, I run that. I've got a little gas sensor I have been playing with. I so like on like the multi sensor stuff, I like to run. I usually will run ESP Home on that, and but other than like regular switches and stuff, I run Tasmodo with it. So it's kind of like my thing of them. You have a very odd issue where message. Hmm. I have to say I never ran into any MQTT messages stopping. That would really screw things up. I can guarantee you that. So. Oh, with the ESPurna stuff. Okay. I haven't. I'll. That is on my list to mess with. So. Um. But yeah, that's kind of. That's just my development stuff for. But I do have. Yeah, so I've got a couple things there that in ESP Home. So some bulbs that I couldn't do with Tasmoda, a sensor node, just some other various other little sensors that I have. So that's kind of my thing with can ESP Home set NeoPixel filters. I never haven't done any of that. The only thing I've done is on my doorbell light. Only thing I have in there is it has a WS2812, and it's like I think I have just 24 LEDs, and it's pretty much like how I did that sensor node that just has a single. A dimming light switch with motion sensor for bathrooms. Well, you can always make one, Matt. I have seen someone, I can't recall who it was. It was several months ago. And it was similar to what I did with that eTech City three-way switch with the motion sensor I put in my laundry room. They actually took the Martin Jerry dimmer, and there's one GPIO open on that switch, on that dimmer switch. I think it was GPIO, I think it was 2 maybe. Don't quote me on that. And they did a AM312 and soldered it to it, and actually have a motion sensor tied into their Martin Jerry dimmer switch. So you can also, now sometimes I know me and Doc and a couple others were talking about that with all the different PIR sensors on switches. And I do have several switches that I have added PIR sensors, but in some cases, the switch is like on a opposite wall. So like when you walk in, the switch really can't see you if we put the PIR sensor right there. I really need the PIR sensor across the room. And that did work out for me in a three-way situation, which is why I did that on the eTech City one. But I was thinking with some of the Wyze sensors for the PIRs, I'll be able to kind of hide those. Now, I probably wouldn't use these in the... I probably wouldn't use this in a bathroom because it looks an awful lot like a camera. So I would highly suggest not to use that in a bathroom. But so I was thinking about using those as for some additional automated lighting. If you're on Doc's Facebook page, and I know you're probably going to have to dig way back, someone did there was like the same, kind of where I got the idea for that eTech City one. And they have the PIR sensor just on the outside of the electrical box. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of the same idea as... where is it at? This one. It's kind of the same idea, but of course it's changed up with the switch. He did use that Martin Jerry dimmer. So... And now I do a lot of automated lighting with dimmers and stuff. So like I still have it in play is when I did that little plug-in, that little night light. I had that in my kitchen. That actually turns on one dimmer in my kitchen at night. and it turns on a couple bulbs. In another room, actually, that pseudo three-way dimmer I have in my hallway is actually the motion sensor on my doorbell module actually kicks that off when we walk in the hallway. It turns the hallway light on, and it turns it on like at 15%. So it's really kind of, you don't really need, unless you literally need it like that, you can put the PIR sensor in another location and just have it send over to it. So what else we got going on lately? Trying to think myself. How do you program ESP32s? ESP32s, which we just talked about, are gonna be with which is this one. Like this gas sensor here is a ESP32, and it's using the, trying to remember the name of the module, the HDC 1080 temperature and that CCS 811. Looking for volatile gas type things because I have it in my shop area. And what the easy way to program the ESP32 is, if you look on, I'll Google a different way, ESP Home Flasher. So once you build your ESP32, whether using ESP Home, whether what sensors and devices you want to put on there, is I just come in here and do a compile and let it compile, and then download the binary, and it downloads the bin file. And then super simple is you'll go into, see if I can pull it up. I may have a copy of it downloaded already. The ESP, let's see. Yeah, ESP Home Flasher. It's based off of that Node MCU Pi Flasher. And you just pick the serial port, you plug in your ESP32, pick the serial port, put that bin file you just downloaded from ESP Home, and then hit flash, and that's it. And it's pretty cool the way Odo designed it. Once it flashes, it resets, and you'll actually see the serial log inside the console. So you'll know immediately, like if you got Wi-Fi passwords that are wrong or whatnot, it'll just go straight in and pull into the console, and you'll see the logs for it automatically. So it's really, really simple to do the ESP32s. Now, of course, once you do get it on your Wi-Fi, you can go ahead and deploy it out in the wild, as long as it's inside your Wi-Fi coverage. And then once you do that, you can just go ahead and hit the upload button if it's online, and it compiles and send it over through OTA. How's the Shelly EM working out? So I have the Shelly EM somewhere behind me. That was another thing. You can use that Node MCU Pi. Hold on, we'll answer that one. I had the Shelly EM. The only thing, it is not going to be fair right now. And I know a couple people in the Shelly support group, including myself, when we did the pre-order, I thought it was going to come with the two 120 amp clamps. But it only comes with the 50 amp clamp, apparently, and you do have to order the other clamps separately. And the 50 amp clamp was very small. I don't know if y'all want me to get it right now. I played it back up to get, been trying 5 months. Yeah, I can do that, Greg. And it's, now he got me scatterbrained now. So with the Shelly EM, it does come with that one clamp, and it looks like it's a clamp that's milliamp output, and they did have the Zener diode in it, which I was checking for. And it uses the same chip that the Shelly 2.5 uses for power monitoring, but you can't go through and go hook up your own clamps and everything. I don't think it's really designed for doing like split phase, and especially not 3-phase, of course, because only do 2 clamps. and it does have that 1 voltage input. So I can't go through and do calibrations, and I'll have to use that 1 clamp. I need to build a case. So it's not going to be a good comparison, I think, at this point for the 6-channel board that I did. Just because right now you can't put ESP Home. There is a branch of ESP Home that I saw Odo and them are testing for that power monitoring chip that the 2.5 has. And I didn't see that link, Matthew. I was trying to see if it was... didn't see it saying approve it yet. So it's not fair yet on the Shelly EM. It's a little different. Now I will say, hey, if you want to do a simple solution for doing your dryer for like notifications, hey, cut off a plug to a computer, put it in a case, because you do put it in a case, because those terminals, because it looks just like a Shelly 1. Hang on, I'll get it if you want right quick. So give me 1 second. If I can find it. So apparently I have hid it from myself and put it in another drawer for some reason, and I don't know what I did with it right now. So, but it looks just like a Shelly 2.5. And it does have the screw terminals exposed, so you'd want to have to probably put that in a type of case to keep any fingers off of it. Ask me how to get the washing machine and tell her when it's done. Yeah, simple power monitoring plug. Yeah. So someone was asking FTDI adapter. Actually, I have changed from the FTDI adapters. I've used those CH340G, and I did talk about them in the video that I was doing with showing like the alternatives to your convert. We were trying to build the device list. I've used this one right here, and luck with them. And I did have to, you can see I'm using it here. If you didn't see in that video that I did recently, you can see I'm using it here with. You just plug in your stuff to it and then plug in a little USB extension wire to it. So I've had good luck with that one. So what other questions did I miss? Oh, the Lohas ESP Home. Actually, if you did see, let's see. I do have that one. The template and everything for the Lohas right here, and it's got everything you need for those Lohas bulbs. I'll send you the link. Yeah, I saw he had I talked with the guy that makes those boards, and he had several of them, and then they blew through them real quick, and he's making some other ones, and he had some issues with his machine or something, but he got that squared away, and he's back to making them again. So, and I saw he had some like different little plugs on one he sent me a picture of. So, but oh, okay. So that's the link you were talking about, Matthew. I don't know if there's a way. Let's see. I should be able. If you try any links out, it should be able to go through. I don't know why YouTube is picking it out. So, what else did I miss in the chat? So we went way off on a Shelly EM tangent. So, I guess long story short, I'm neutral on the Shelly EM right now. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for ESP Home to support it before I really do anything with it. Um, so yeah, the 6 channel still been working out good for me, and that's why I wanted to compare it to. So maybe this weekend I'll throw that Shelly EM into enclosure. Actually, I'm not gonna be able to put it inside. I know it's designed, I guess, for overseas. For me, that in that case, is to put it in the breaker box. But my breaker box is probably one of the few further farther away places from my Wi-Fi. I do get decent Wi-Fi coverage in there because even an ESP chip picks up fine in there. But if I put it inside the metal panel and the metal panel is grounded, so it just becomes this Faraday cage, I probably won't get Wi-Fi coverage, and the Shelly EM won't do it. The NeoPix. Oh, that was the same question. Let's check it out. ESP Home Neo. What are you talking about? Filters. I know they have the NeoPixel lights you can go through, and you can pick all the different light styles, and there's a bunch of stuff about the automations. Yeah, definitely, Wellbo. I know there's a couple ESP32s that are PoE, and it just the price was kind of high, but yeah, that would be super simple for me to run Ethernet in there and just pop in a couple devices. So, but it's crazy. I think that'll be probably 2 or 3 ESP devices in my shop area right now. 'Cause I got one monitoring temperature, humidity, and the volatile gas, and then the other one's on the energy monitor. So my thing done dropped. There you go, to 144p. Yeah, so not that anybody goes out there often, but I'm an idiot sometimes and not paying attention, so I would probably want to put it in a proper case. That way I can't touch, because that would be mains voltage. It's just like you wouldn't go mount a Shelly 1 or 2 or something like on your wall in your house. I wouldn't do that. So yeah, the power line stuff would be cool if they had that built in, because that'd be easy to do. Put it on the same phase in the house and pop in Ethernet to it and rock and roll. Oh, from an automation. I haven't done anything like that. I can tell you, David, if you go to the ESP Home website and click the Discord button, there's a lot of smart dudes inside of the Discord on the ESP Home side. I guarantee you someone can probably copy and paste something that they've done before with changing some lights and whatnot. There are a lot of panels on the outside. That's interesting. They'll lock y'all's panels? I mean, it just seems like weird that the panels are on the outside and someone can just open. Not that I'd have to worry about it really here, but it just seems weird to me. You could just start turning people's breakers off from outside. I know if we knew that when we were kids, we'd probably go play a lot of pranks on our friends and stuff and start just cutting off half the house and really flip some people out. So, but I guess you can put a lock on it. So, any type of water monitoring. What type of water monitoring? Like water usage? Yeah, I definitely see that. I know Doc did I think it was dealing with his water softener. He did that ultrasonic sensor. I haven't seen that's one thing I have thought about. I just didn't know if there's any good I haven't looked at any good sensors out there, mainly due to the fact that my water enters on the outside of the house, and on that side I don't have any power or anything over there, and it would be somewhat difficult for me to probably mount something because the water comes out the ground and goes into the brick. But I did think about that'd be cool to see the water usage. I want to, because it's like you see the electric usage now, and you start to think about, hey, what's the water usage do I use, and then we got natural gas usage, and it would be simple to install plumbing wise. My brother-in-law is a plumber, so he'd probably do it, but something I haven't looked at. Yeah. Now I've seen the water leak sensors. Now I think we were just talking about what the amount of flow of water, I believe. So, and my water meter is way out by the street, so we couldn't put something out there. Oh, wow. So, any other questions, burning questions everybody's got? Yeah, I've got a couple water leak sensors. I got mainly one that is in my next to the washing machine. I've had a couple family members had some issues with the washer machine, and so it's always uh, worried me. If you have smart meters, you can SDR to read it. Yeah, I've seen some of that. Now I've got just a regular analog meter, and I know some of we were talking about in with my Grafana. If not everyone's seen it, is talking about the energy monitoring, but I like to see the individual circuits as well. So, and not just whole home. And like, I can, like, the wife just got home, and I can tell that she must have turned the TV on, and because this is that green line here, which is the master in the kids' room, and I can see that hers just shot up. So, hey, what's up, sir? Good enough? Yeah, we're been on for about a little over an hour right now. So, toilets and water heaters are biggies too. Yeah, I could do mine with my water heater would be easy to do. I could just do I tell when it's on and off. I have a tankless gas one, so I actually thought about doing a power monitoring plug on that, just to see when it would turn off and on. Um, hey, what's up, Ernest? Yeah, that I've been enjoying that Reolink E1 Pro as well. I have it in my living room still. So, oh wow, 10-point buck. Now I can't say I have any 10-point bucks going in my yard. So, um, ESP Home run on Docker. You're asking as a question? The 25 clamps. Yeah. Now I think don't think about it. Now you notice like I have 6A and 8A. That's two circuits. I ran because the wires are right next door. Right next. I say next door. They're next to each other, and so I just went through and I put both wires in the same clamp, so I can monitor both right there. So, all right, George, appreciate it. Hanging around. Can you post your dashboards? Yeah, I've got a couple of dashboards. I can post those. It's really just some simple graphs. I'm no Grafana person by no Grafana Pro by any means. Um, yeah, ESP Home does actually it does run on Docker. Now, when you install it, if you're Hassio, you will just install it, and it actually runs in Docker in the background. But it does run in Docker itself. And see, I actually have it in Docker, and actually have the developer version and the ESP Home version that run straight in Docker on my Unraid server. So, but you can see the actual container is on the Docker hub. So, only 25. My 200. I'm trying to think. If I had to do everything, it would probably. I've only got a 125 amp panel, and if that's way over than what I need, because they actually had places for electric water heater, electric dryer, electric stove, but everything is gas in my house now. And so my only big draw I have is the air conditioner. And so can you run both wires for 220 circuit like AC? Yeah, no, I'll say no as well. Because they're going to be split phase. So one's going to be the other way. And I think typically in the US, and someone may correct me, the phase is 180 degrees. So actually probably would most likely cancel each other out. So definitely you don't want to do that. Hey, I appreciate it, Ivan. Yeah, so you definitely wouldn't want to do that. And now, I did have a clamp on just my one phase of the air conditioner compressor, and you don't. I didn't need both because I could, if I really wanted to compute it, I could just double it up for the most part. The only thing you would probably be different if you're trying to compute like the exact, say like a usage or dollar amount, would be like, say, on a dryer, electric dryer. It does use speaking in the US, I don't know how they are overseas, but the two legs in a dryer here is the motor is typically just single phase, and that's just going to be on one leg, but then the heating elements on the other two phases. So for notifications, you do want it on the leg that has the motor and the element so you can tell if it's running. And you could kind of double it up, but you would be doubling up the motor usage. So you can, and you just really need one, if you're just trying to see usage and if something's on, and just need to pick up one leg of it, like say if you're trying to do a water heater. So yeah, like a water heater, water heater should be pretty much symmetrical. So you could just double it up, like if you're trying to do a kilowatt hour usage or something like that, and it should put you pretty close in the ballpark. So what else? Yeah, I've got a few different little dashboards, and I don't do a whole lot. I've got like my dishwasher and the total watts, the laundry, a couple other little sensors. Um, I've got I got some speed test stuff. It's kind of random and doesn't really work too well, but I can see on my general usage. And then I've got a little custom little script that goes through and pulls my cable modem signals and throws them to Grafana, so I can kind of see if there's different drops and stuff like that. So, but I'll post those. And then another one I have is on like my drive usage on the server and Unraid and the Docker stuff and CPUs and drive temperatures. So I got that one off of somebody from Reddit, so it's not that I made, so I won't take credit for that one. So, but let's see, go back. No, in a S31 or 120 monitoring would work. Split phase heating elements and motors the same. Current is the same. Only the single. Yeah, exactly the same. So they're good enough. Could I use a Shelly one to measure the washing machine? You could, but I wouldn't waste the money on it, on the time taken to do it. I know this guy. He did this video it was a while back on the Sonoff S31 for smart laundry. A lot of it still will apply. And I did that video a while. That was last year I did. It still will apply, and I did it for Google Home. And I'm not very familiar with the doing TTS to Alexa stuff. I'm sorry if I said the name, the Amazon one. So I'm sure you can find some stuff. Hey, how'd you get the contact? Yeah, Greg, you're gonna have to roll back through that. We did that at the very beginning. It's pretty simple. If you're too lazy to watch, and I'm not saying it in a bad way, you can just go to this link. So, but you should be able to roll back the video and see we did it, and it works pretty cool. I was kind of impressed with it. So, I'm gonna do some further testing with it later today. So, but yeah, I would just use like just a regular power monitoring plug, like a Sonoff S31 or any other power monitoring plug, and whether you put ESP Home on it or Tasmota, etc. Like I did cover, like if you look at my the video with the I did talk about if you don't want to solder anything because the Sonoff S31 you do have to solder. There is that eTech City plug that I did. I did it more on a live stream, and but I did talk about the eTech City. You can open it. It is kind of a pain to open, and I have it in the drawer. I don't want to go back there. It is kind of a pain to open, but you can flash that plug. It's a power monitoring plug with no soldering at all because they have the pins wide open on it. And I have found them on various lightning deals at times, but what the current cost is on them. They do have a $3 coupon right now. It looks like mine's showing, but I don't know what the Sonoff S31 is. I guess the Sonoff S31 is so simple to open. Do they even have any listed? Or is it the S30? Is it S30 or it's S31? That was the S31. Yeah. So they're about the same. It depends if you buy from IT, but those were in doesn't tap half the time. Yeah. So I like the S31 because you can open them without and easily. They just have like 3 or 4 screws. I did see they were not ending life the S31. I asked them about it on the Facebook. They are ending life on the Sonoff S31 2-pack, but the 1-pack was not end of life yet. And man, that's still my favorite plug, the S31, because it fits in the socket with 2 of them. It has power monitoring. It works great, and it works pretty solid. So. I don't know what. Yeah, you might be right. I believe you're right on the S20. I believe you are right on the S20 being end of life. Trying to see. I know what people always ask. I don't know if this is the latest version. My console, if it connect. So yeah, see, I've got a couple of them. I don't think I can make this text any bigger on here. So sorry, but I do have several of the Sonoff S31s. I've got like 4 of them deployed. Of course, I've got some of the outdoor plugs that I have, and let's see. Yeah, they're pretty simple to do, and they are pretty simple to solder. So, but they work straight out of the box. You don't have to go pick any template or anything. You just hit configure module and pick Sonoff S31 inside of Tasmota. I believe they do have. I've seen a couple sketches for the people that love ESP Home. They do have a couple ESP Home ones for the Sonoff S31 as well. So, yeah, this one's been running quite some time, as you can see. I don't know which that one is running on right now. Yeah, that's one of the things I had was the issue was the with that eTech City with the Tasmota. I had issues with the voltage dropping out every once in a while. Now I did do it for, let's see. Yeah, there's the eTech City one. No, yeah, is that the ESP Home? I posted the plug and then the sketch. Yeah, here it was. Because someone wanted it for the eTech City one. But it didn't, for the ESP Home, I didn't have the voltage dropout. Yeah, and you may have to do some additional calibration on it, but there's all the stuff to do for ESP Home for it. So may get you pretty close. I did do the template as well, and you can see I talk about I had issues with the voltage dropping at random times using it in Tasmodo. But it's a pretty cool little plug. They just, I don't know, yeah, so they're kind of like the Sonoff S31. They do have a night light on them, and they also have a analog light sensor on them as well. So they're pretty cool. They have some additional features to them. So if you want to see like the light, the amount of light in a room for like driving automation, and there's like a little, it's a PWM light that goes out the bottom. I don't think I got a picture of it or not. Yeah, there's one right there. You can see it's a little light diffuser on the bottom. So lots of different little choices for power monitoring. So yeah, the washer is easy. The gas dryer is easy, but now when you jump into the dryer that's electric, then you have the other issues, which I've done. You can kind of DIY your own clamp, and which is pretty cheap. If you look down, they actually did one with ESP Home and with just a regular Arduino sketch. No, I'm not trying to drop all these links and stuff, but maybe I'll take up some of your day, right? That's the dryer one I did with, it's a little DIY stuff using a clamp and ESP Home to do the that, and it's probably a little cheaper than doing a Sonos, like a Shelly EM. But Shelly EM would be a good choice for. It's a simple one to do. Like I say, just make sure and put it in a case. Don't leave those terminals exposed for any one to get into. So, including yourself. So, I would be the one that would end up touching my fingers on it. So, yes, it is accessible through Tasmodo. So I did. If you do flash 6.60 on them, you should have the option to include ADC0, and that will give you the option to do the analog light sensor. SDR software, I just ran it for one day. I think that's the one I used, was the RTL 433, and I just had it running for one day, and I think I was, every once in a while it was starting to fall, like it would just hang up. And after about 3 or 4 hours, I don't know if it was overheating the SDR or whatnot. I'm not sure. So, but yeah, Photo 848. You should, if you do I don't have it flashed with Tasmodo right now, but it should have the. Yeah, that was one of the changes they did in 6.6. Is used to for you to have the A0 pin, like if you've seen on the Wemos D1 Mini or the Node MCU. If you want to use the A0 pin, by default, that pin was actually not being able to be used with Tasmodo because it was reading the voltage off of the ESP8266 itself. You would have to compile your own or use Sonoff-sensors bin file, and then you could read that file. Well, they've changed that with 6.60 because no one was using that, I say, kind of a false reading at times. Because you could be feeding perfect voltage to a Node MCU and it would say it was low for some reason, but it worked fine. But now you can pick that in, which you should be able to see in, let me go to a different module. Three-way, let's see. If you look in, let me make this bigger for y'all. Control plus. If you look in the configure template, you'll get the option for ADC 0. And also, I think you get a configure mod. It'll may show up in configure module. But if you do doing the template, just make sure and turn on ADC 0. If you want to say user or analog or temperature, or you can actually use the analogs also as buttons, which is kind of cool. So it just sees if the voltage changes. So that's how you use the analog in um, Tasmodo with, but it needs to be 6.60 or better. So, hey, what's up, Tim? I know, and I know you're gonna ask. I did not tear down totally and pin out that switch. I was gonna do that later for offline. So, but I will try to do that today. So if you're handy, you could hack a Sonoff and then just inside the motor, there's already a safety to kill it. Ah, okay, yeah, that's a. But I was trying to always be careful in modifying the dryer. You may make Mama mad. So yeah, I haven't put Tasmodo on it yet. I just tore it down. No, 6.6 Photo 8 does use still using Core 2. It does use Core 2.3 because a lot of people had issues with the core. Now, if you want a different core, look on the GitHub, and if you scroll down, you can run one of the developments, or if you want a different release, if you go to the Hackbox. Now, these are the 6.60 releases. If you look right here, they build all the binaries, and they build all the binaries already for you. There's Core 2.42 and there's Core 2.52 of all the binaries. Now, even if you want the development ones, you want the newer development. Like I know we were talking about the iFan 03. For like the iFan 03, you would need the newer development version. These are built, I believe, every hour, and you can pick up the version of the Core 2.30, 2.42, and 2.52. And if someone's asking about what the core is, think of it more about like the Windows OS. Think of it kind of like one of them is Windows 7, one of them's Windows 8, one of them's Windows 10, and then Tasmodo's like kind of like on top of it. And it's like the core libraries that build ESP8266s for expressive. So, and we had a lot. It was with the Core 2.42. There's some additional features as well as the others, but some people had, including myself, a lot of MQTT disconnect issues. So, yeah, I was looking. The iFan 03s are pretty cool. That you can. They got rid of that other microcontroller, but you do need to pick. I want to say, if I remember right from reading it the other day, it was like module number 71. And pick iFan 03 and the newer version of Tasmodo, and the remote and everything does work. It's 433 megahertz, but there is the issue, which I'm sure you'll cover. Who's the AK9753? No, I have not. What is that? AK9753 Arduino. Yeah, looking forward to that. Definitely, sir. Good enough. When you get that done, definitely send it to me. I'm going to be curious to see what you come up with. So I still have an iFan 02 that I haven't installed. And I was tempted to buy an iFan 03, but I'm like, well, I haven't even installed the other one I had. But so how does this one do, Ben? It's a non-dispersive infrared sensor. Now that would be cool. But it can also tell which direction the person is moving. Interesting. Now you've piqued my interest, because I've always wanted something, a presence sensor is, more like just like infrared. Hey, is there a body in the room? That's always been an issue with a couple of my automations. Because if there's, now say a live body, we're not getting into that. Because I want to see if someone's sleeping or something like that, then I don't want any type of like automation running or something like that. But as long as someone's in the room type deal. Does AliExpress have those? AK 9753. I don't see one offhand, but I'll dig it around a little bit. That looks like, oh, there it is. Whoa, it got it a little higher. but I would be curious to play with one, especially if they are I squared C. Go back there. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look at that when I'm offline. Yeah, I was thinking room count, movement in room. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I want to see is if Tasmodo or ESP Home will pick up support on that, or could always do if they have the libraries already, do a simple little sketch on it in Arduino. So that seems pretty cool. Yeah, Sir Good enough. I have that one iFan 02 installed still. Yeah, so with it's my crazy panel. So where I have they got PIR sensors and lights and buttons on it using that MCP 23017, and that's actually been working great. Still with and that I did it. I showed it in my video, the I squared C MCP 23017 video, where I have the 3 buttons for turning on the lamps and the fan, changing the fan speed, and then also I can see whether like my house alarm is armed, and also I can see if the washer and dryer are running based on status lights on that panel, all from the iFan 02. So that one's a little over engineering at best. So. Well, we're going for an hour and a half. Unless anybody else has any burning questions or anything, if you check out the Wyze stuff, no affiliation to Wyze stuff or anything. I bought it. Thought it was cool. MQTT on Unray with HA. I have it integrated and see it, but no joy on devices showing up the Tasmodo devices or connecting. Yeah, we could probably do something, and Greg, if you want to, Greg, definitely hit me up on if you're not already. Let me get you. Hold up, let me see if if it works. If the stupid bot's gonna work. If it does or not. Look at that. I thought I was gonna fix it, but it didn't. If you hit me, if you're not on Discord, hit me up on Discord, and I can. Oh look, now I sent it. Now the damn bot pulls up. Right, that's just I have 0 patience level for tech. Right. Hit me up on Discord, and I can walk you through the MQTT setup. It's stupid simple with Unraid. I'm assuming are you doing separate containers? Are you doing the Hassio supervisor or what? Or it's pretty simple to do. I can walk you through it though, and it makes it easier with sharing some screenshots and stuff. So, but I run it as separate, and it's just this MQTT Spance MQTT right there. Oh, so supervisor, yeah, that one's actually simple as well. I just did it on it has to be with Hassio. So that's a good question, Rich. Fit in a dumb doorbell chime. That's a good question, because I have one in there, but sorry, I bumped the camera. I know you have one of these. There's the size right there, and there's the size of the PIR sensor, and it's really thin. It's on the end, so it should. See if you can make it fit. I'm sure they probably had the dimensions on the Wyze site as well. So, all right. Well, I appreciate y'all watching, and y'all have the good rest of y'all's day. And like I say, if you got any other questions or anything, just hit me up on Discord or whatever other way you feel like you can figure out contacting me. I'm sure you can. There's all kind of ways, email or Facebook, Discord, etc. And y'all take care.